Hey everybody, Bill and Deb.
Hi there.
Well, what is the date today?
It's Saturday.
It's Saturday.
November 6th.
November 6th, that sounds about right. Somewhere in that.
Somewhere there.
Yeah, just look on the calendar and see what Saturday would be near November 6th.
And that's the date.
Yeah. When you're retired.
You don't worry about things like that too much.
Yeah. And we have been kind of taking it easy, a little easy here lately.
A little more resting. We've done a few things.
Sure.
In preparation.
And then I got to go sit under the blue light for my precancers on my head. That was an experience in itself.
Yeah. You look like something from outer space.
Yeah, I know. But we'll talk a little bit about that right quick. For those of you that may be looking at something like this in the future, what they did, now you might remember, I need to back up a little bit, what you might remember that a few months ago, I ended up with a pretty large sore on top of my head that looked like a blackberry, and it was squamous cell carcinoma, and they dug and got that out. I think they dig a little bit, then they go look under a microscope and look at it and look for clear margins, and if they didn't see any, they call me back in and we got to dig a little bit more, and they did that 4 times. Yeah. And then, of course, when they had to sew everything up. Now, this was a few months ago.
Bill got a facelift.
Yeah. That's why I look so much younger now.
Yes.
Right?
That's it.
Because when they had to sew me up, they had another person in there, and he was pushing on my head over here and pushing on my head over here while the other doctor was stitching, and literally had to pull the skin, all back around it to get it all stitched up. And it was that particular day, it didn't hurt me at all. I felt pretty good when I got back out into the van, and we went down to Sonic and had a cheeseburger and fries and stuff I shouldn't eat probably, right?
It was the following day.
The following day is when the deadening shots that they gave me had worn off. I swore up and down the next day that Deb had tied me down in the bed and beat me on top of my head with a baseball bat. But anyway, after about 4 days, it started to recede. I took some ibuprofen during that time. I don't like to take those kind of things because it can affect other parts of your body. And so anyway, but we did fine. And now we come back to where we have to do the blue light thing, which is the precancer thing. And they put me, what they did first, they set me down in a chair and they put this salve on me, on my head, and it had to sit there for an hour and a half before they finally put me under the blue light. And then just before they set me under the light, this little nurse comes in with a little digging tool. I swear when she started digging with it, it felt like a chisel. But she had to she said, have to prick some of these bigger, thicker spots you got so that the light will penetrate real well. And that was okay. And then I thought, well, now it'll be a piece of cake. I just sit under this light and relax, and it was a 15-minute thing. Well, when they turned on the blue light, all of a sudden, it was like I was in an intense sunny day, and I'd already been sunburned, and it was just burning and burning and burning. So I did a lot of meditating, deep meditating with deep breaths during that time. But after that, about an hour after they took me out, I mean, the pain started to recede almost immediately after they took me out from underneath the light. And then about an hour or so later, it got better. And now I just have a little bit of itching now and then. Of course, they've given me stuff to put on it for that and told me about the 3rd day, and I think I'm on the 2nd day now. They said on the 3rd day is when my head might turn red.
And possibly blister.
And then stuff will start peeling away. So we'll see what happens. We'll update you on that later. Didn't mean to go into such a intense description of everything, but folks, some of our followers might be, I want to say, looking forward to something like that in the future.
Looking forward? Kind of give them an idea. Okay. You just squelched that. No one's looking forward to it now.
Oh, it wasn't bad. I never cried, I mean, but I'm a tough booger. At least I like to think I am. Mm-hmm. Right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we won't go any further than that. We were just talking last night about when when I'm sick. Deb says that I just want to be babied the whole time when I'm sick.
Yes.
I don't think so. I think
But you're just like most men. Sorry.
I'm like most men.
Okay, ask any woman out there.
Anyway, let's talk about what we've got done so far. We did do a few things,
Yes.
and
The most awesome.
the most awesome part, and this is why we're sitting up against the outside door here, so you'll be able to see it a whole lot easier. We got our flooring done in the kitchen and living room, the 4-foot deep living room. So here we go, and there it is, right there.
We still have to trim it out.
Yeah, we still got to, put base shoe around the edges, but that's one thing that we'll be doing after we get down to Florida at the undisclosed location, right?
Right.
Let me stand up over here and give you another shot coming this way. And like I say, we're going to be installing base shoe around it. Although we did get it cut in pretty decent, but I still want to put base shoe around it. And I'm going to have to make a threshold for this door. And the one thing about it, when we had this trailer spec built, most 8.5 wides are they have a footwell at the door. Now we have 2 side doors, and there are several reasons why we went with 2 side doors. One, we wanted another access to the bathroom at the back of the trailer, so that if we just simply had to go to the bathroom, we don't have to walk clear through the trailer to get to the bathroom. We can just walk through that door. And the other reason, which really is the most important reason, is it's 2 means of egress.
Right.
Right. So that's why we did that. But what we did, we had them raise the doors and did away with the footwells. We wanted a totally flat floor all the way to the door because we wanted to be able to utilize all that space right there. And because of that, of course, when I built the set of steps, which I'll be building another set for the kitchen eventually. But when I built the set of steps that are just outside this door, I had to go with 3 treads high instead of 2 because we don't have that footwell.
Right. Did you talk about this flooring, that it was a click and lock?
No, I did not.
It's not a glue down, it's a click and lock.
Yeah. And it went together pretty good.
It wasn't bad.
I hadn't done that many. I installed flooring for years, but this particular type of flooring wasn't all that popular by the time I hung up my tools or threw them away or sold them at a third of what I paid for them.
It doesn't matter, use out of it.
Because I was done.
I'm done. Okay, an update on our treads.
Yeah. Let me stop up here.
We did, you remember, the stain took too darkly, so I went out, took them all out.
Darkly?
Darkly, is that not a word? And lightly sanded them. And as you can tell, I hope, in the video, the
Let me get a close-up.
The grain is really coming through, and it was just a real light sanding.
Didn't take much at all. Really.
I put 4 coats of polyacrylic on them.
Not polyurethane.
No, I could have used polyurethane on that, but I used polyacrylic because that's what I used on my countertops and these side walls. And you already have polyacrylic. Why would I want to buy something different?
So, but what was the other reason why you used polyacrylic rather than polyurethane?
Well, polyacrylic on my white countertops, and I learned this the hard way when I redid furniture back when we had a house. There's something about the white paint and polyurethane that causes your white to yellow. So I was talking to the gentleman at Sherwin-Williams, and they said, what you need is polyacrylic. Polyacrylic will not yellow when you put it with the white. So that's why, because of my white countertops, so I already had the polyacrylic, and it's highly durable as well, and it's water-based, and it doesn't cause my countertops to yellow.
Right. And it really improved the looks of these treads.
Oh yeah, they're really looking neat now.
So these wrap all the way around the bed, and we still have quite a bit to do. And we've covered this before in other videos as well. But we're just taking a break and slowing down for a little bit because we will be pulling out of here November 21st.
Yes.
Which is just around the corner.
And we have lots to do.
Right. We still have lots to do as far as other things not related to the trailer. Plus, we do have a few things still yet to do that are related to the trailer.
Yes, before we can pull out.
Exactly. One of the things that we will be getting done, and we will be shooting a video on that, and we briefly touched on it during our live feed, is I will be building a shelf here between these uprights. Let me pull this down here. I'll be building a shelf here above the refrigerator that will attach between these uprights right here. But what I'll do first, and this is why we wanted to get the floor done first, what I will do first is I will use a high-powered adhesive and actually glue probably a 1x6 on top of the refrigerator across this way here. And then I will build the shelf that will sit just directly on top of that above it, and it too will be made out of 1x material for the floor of the shelf. So what'll happen is when the refrigerator is slid in underneath that with this board glued here and the shelf board that is right on top of that is also 3/4 of an inch thick, then I will run screws through the floor, the shelf that has the floor in it, the shelf floor, and they will go down into the board that is glued to the top of the fridge.
Using the proper length screws so it don't go to my refrigerator.
Yeah. I will be using the proper
Thank
length
you.
screws, I promise. But and then of course, the shelf will have a back on it back here, which will help, hide the stuff where the refrigerant lines come in for the air handler part of the mini split. And for those of you that didn't catch previous videos about this, we did leave lots of breathing room behind there. We have had the refrigerator out several times and there is no condensation that has formed behind the refrige at all with these lines that go up and down. But we left lots of breathing room. There are, in these uprights here down below, there are vent holes that I cut out so air can flow freely all the way around this thing. So we've got all that covered. But like I say, we haven't had any issues at all with condensation when we've had the fridge out, and it seems to be working real well. We got plenty of ventilation over there. So we'll be doing a video on that and showing you how we did that, and that'll be we got to get it done before we leave. That's just all there is to it. The next thing we'll be doing, and we did this on the red trailer, a lot of folks have expressed concern about these bins, how they will ride while we're going down the road. The bins back there, the bins over here. There's also a 3/4 inch lip right here, and that keeps these things, they're in there. In order to get them out, we have to lift them up and pull them out like that. So what we're going to do also as added insurance, we'll be installing small D-rings, unobtrusive here and here, so we can stretch bungee cords across, and the bungee cords will come, right across the middle of the bins, right in here. And that's the way we did it on the red trailer, and we'll do it on all of these shelves all around the trailer, and that'll help keep everything in place, right?
Yes.
So as far as the TV is concerned, the way we always did it with the red trailer, we took the TV down and laid it on the bed, and then Deb covered that all up and protected it. Never had a bit of trouble.
Nope.
Never at all.
Nope.
And we'll do the same thing with this trailer. The appliances, everybody's concerned about the appliances. We have not permanently attached them to these shelves yet. And we didn't even plan for that in the beginning when we built these what we call appliance pedestals here, which have the power coming in on them. We will pull the appliances off too and probably just set them on the floor down here is our thought, right?
Yes.
And we'll try that and see how that works. So eventually we will come up with a way that we can permanently attach these, and lots of folks have expressed ideas on what we can do there, and a lot of them have promise.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but we just don't have time to mess with that right now, so this is what we'll be doing in the meantime, so we can safely travel down the road.
Right, because what we're trying to do is get the major sawing done before we leave here.
Right.
Because when we're at actual campgrounds, people might not mind if I run a drill or the compressor occasionally, but they're going to mind if I run a table saw.
Yeah, they might let me run a chop saw.
No.
But we'll see.
We'll see.
But we'll see. We've got this one particular campground we're going to. We've been there before, and those folks there are pretty accommodating. So
You don't want to ruin other people's zen.
that's right. And no, we do not want to do that at all. And if while we're there at now at the undisclosed location, we're allowed to work all we want.
Yes.
It's when we move on down to the other location later on, where the other locations, where we would have issues. So we want to try to get as much done as possible. What's that?
I almost sneezed.
You almost sneezed? Oh my goodness.
That would have been good.
Now something else that we did, let me step up here. You see the bottom board, you see the red, where Deb did the red here, of course, and I still have yet to make a door that allows access to the plumbing right there. But then we had this other board that's down below, a second sheet. This sheet, the white sheet that you see, is made so it's removable, because then once we remove that, we have access to a whole lot of other stuff if we ever had to get into. It allows us more easy access to the drain system that comes off of the gray tank and a few of the electrical items that are in there, and allows us more access to the plumbing that comes up for the shower head, which is directly on the other side of that. So, but Deb went ahead and painted that white, and we hummed and hawed about it. First we were going to do it red all the way, but I kind of like the contrast. How about you, babe?
Well, that way it looks more like wainscoting instead of just, because we couldn't figure out how to trim it out between the two so that we could get it off.
Right.
So I said, okay, let's just make it two different colors, and then you'll have to cut your trim that comes down right there. But that's not as,
Right.
it'll look right.
Right.
I think.
I'll still eventually, be trimming out the corners and be dressing that up on top and all that stuff. But here again, those are little minor things. The main thing right now is to get the main mechanicals completed, so that everything can travel safely as we go down the road.
Right.
So, and this ain't our first rodeo. We've mentioned this before. This ain't our first rodeo. We have experience in these things, so we're
But
trying
you learn something new every time you go out.
every single time.
Every
single
time.
And one more thing to show, as concerning the trailer itself, is Delilah, for her litter box, now has privacy. And I think she's outside right now. We let her go out. She's out prowling right now. But Deb went ahead and made a curtain to hang there, so Delilah has privacy, and that came out looking pretty darn good, I think.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And we still have we're going to be doing the cabinet doors eventually. These are all things we can survive with right now. We hoped we have all this stuff done, but unfortunately it just didn't happen.
Well, the bodies didn't want to continue working. The body says, wait a minute, I'm tired, I'm quitting today.
And I know some of you have seen this and you're going to ask that question, so we'll cover it right quick. These little areas here, no, we didn't run the flooring in there. I let some of the flooring run wild right there. We're going to be trimming that off right there. And we're probably going to just paint the flooring back there. And Deb's also making curtains that will go there and there. And you've got some ideas on some shelving you found that we can fit in there for storage and things like that.
Well, I actually had one in the red trailer, but I'm going to it's Amazon. It's a little chrome shelf that fits perfectly up against the cabinet and goes back, and it will give me some more storage space to get a little more organized.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I've already got some stuff stored in there.
Right.
But so that area, people were concerned that area might go to waste, but it's not going to go to waste. No. We're getting new stools eventually, but these stools fold up quite nicely and store in there right beside the refrigerator, to get them out of our way when we want an open space. So, it's all working.
And the other reason why we didn't run the flooring in there is I'm a big boy and I just can't reach in there. I could install the flooring in there if it was a direct glue down product. I could reach in there to do that, but you've got to have a certain amount of room to click these panels together, and I just didn't have the room to get back there and get the right leverage in order to click the panels together back in there.
It's all right.
So
it's no biggie. They'll paint
curtains and painting the floor, and a good looking trim right there at the transition, which will be hidden by the curtains as well.
Right.
So there you are. And anyway, one more thing quickly. I want to touch on this before we go. Because a lot of people have been asking these questions. I did get a reading on the tongue weight.
Oh, yeah, the tongue weight.
What I did in order to get the reading on the tongue weight, I'm not ready to hook onto the trailer and take it down to the scales to do some weighing, but I wanted to know what my tongue weight is. It just takes up too much time to run it down to scales, get it weighed, get it back and set up again.
Plus, we don't have the refrigerator attached to it, or the bungee cords.
Right.
And
So many other things we'd have to do before we did that, and we're running out of time. That's all there is to it. So what I did, I ordered a product from a company called WeighSafe, and they have several different items for measuring tongue weight. One of their starting items is simply a 2 and 5. Well, it's not a 2 5/16 ball. It's a 2-inch ball, and it has a scale on the bottom part, and it'll read up beyond 1,500 pounds of tongue weight. And I never intended to tow the trailer with that ball. In order to make it into a 2 5/16 ball, you get an optional part that's like a clamshell that goes over it to make it a 2 5/16, and that just didn't set with me. The whole intention of ordering this product, and I just simply ordered it as a 2-inch ball, I was simply going to set the tongue down on it, get the tongue weight so I'd know what I had, put my regular ball back on. Well, it helped us get I don't know that it's a super accurate reading, honestly.
No,
but it still gave me a good idea, and what it told me was, and I installed it according to manufacturer specifications and everything. We did the whole thing. I actually read the instructions. I know. And we got this reading, and I'll tell you what it is here in a little bit. But once we got the reading, then for grins, I stepped inside the trailer, and I walked up towards the nose of the trailer, and I had Deb get a reading, and she said that it increased it by about 200 pounds when I walked up to the nose of the trailer. Well, here's the part that bothered me. When I walked out of the trailer, the weight no longer being there, the scale didn't go back.
Right, it didn't readjust.
Right, didn't readjust back. So it still gave me a good idea, and it told me what I needed to know. I definitely need to go with a weight distribution hitch, period.
Right.
The tongue weight, the reading that we got before I did these other experiments, which I was disappointed in, was 950 pounds tongue weight. That's what the reading that we got. So definitely getting a weight distribution hitch. It's on order. It will show up here in the next 2 or 3 days.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can't go anywhere till we get that.
Right. And had it been closer to the rating of my ball hitch that I have on there, I might have not been too concerned, but we have to have a riser, the ball hitch, the part that goes into the receiver. Now my receiver itself, it's a class 4. It's rated at 1,000 pounds tongue weight and 10,000 pounds trailer weight. The ball hitch part that goes in, the riser part, and we had to get one that was a 4-inch riser in order for everything to set level. When it's in the riser mode rather than the drop mode, so we had to go with the riser mode, it's only rated at 600 pounds tongue weight. And if I remember correctly, at that setup, it's only rated at 6,000 pounds trailer weight. Well, we don't know exactly what the trailer weighs yet, but I'm pretty sure that we're nudging the 6,000 pound mark. There's some people that we know that have followed along as we built it. You know, personal people that have been here while we're building it, they don't think it'll weigh that much. The trailer started out around 3,200 pounds before we started. But
yeah, well, we didn't think the tongue weight would be that much.
But we didn't think the tongue weight would be that much either. So what I did order a weight distribution hitch, and first I was going to get the one from Harbor Freight, but it's only rated up to 1,000 pounds tongue weight. And I'm too close to that. So I ordered the next one up through E-Trailer, made by Kurt, and this one's rated at up to 1,400 pounds tongue weight. And what I'm also going to have to do, my ball that I have, I thought I could reuse the same ball, but it only has a 1-inch shank. The new trailer distribution hitch that I ordered will accept a 1-inch shank, but it's really made for an 1.25 inch shank. So in addition to that, when I got to looking at the ball itself, I think it's only rated at 7,500 pound trailer weight. And yeah, I'm feel pretty confident that we're good when it comes to that until I actually get the trailer weighed. However, if I've got the hitch that will accommodate the more heavy duty ball, and the ball is only like $20. I've already checked it out. Why not do it?
Why not do?
Exactly. So
We don't want to be broke down on the road somewhere.
well, and there's more that comes into play there. You know, if one of these items were to break and the trailer was to come loose for some reason, it's not
This is my home.
well, it's our home, but also we've got to be concerned about the other people around us.
Exactly.
You know, there's more to it than just us. It involves everybody around us. So, no, we're going to take all the safety precautions necessary.
No sense taking a risk when you know that you shouldn't be.
Right. But if any of you have had experience with one of these WaySafe products and experience the same thing, even if you haven't experienced the same thing, you know, weigh in on it. Let me know what you discovered when you had one of these WaySafe products. And I'm talking about the one. Well, I'm sure I've already showed you a picture of it, what it is. So if any of you have ever had one of these, let me know what kind of experience you had. But right now, if I can't honestly recommend that you go that route. No. Me, that's just me.
It's just us.
I'm disappointed in the fact that the scale stuck there,
right,
and it didn't come back down when I walked out. Because I know that when I walked out, I weigh almost 300 pounds. I know good and well there was a difference.
Should have gone down.
It should have, but it didn't.
Nope.
All right, I've said my piece.
All right.
I'm going to go now.
And now we're going to go.
Are you ready to go?
You betcha.
Y'all take care. This is Bill and Deb with I Ride Tiny House Adventures. And folks, we've always said this and we always will. We are not camping.
We're living.
Y'all get out there and do some living yourself. We'll see you again. Bye-bye now.